I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Mr. Ho Saecheol, a distinguished legal professional and a current representative attorney at the Hyungdong Law Firm in South Korea. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Mr. Ho has held prominent roles, including legal advisory team leader at Korea Electronic Power Corporation and general manager of legal affairs at Korean Air. He is also experienced arbitrator with the Korean Commercial Arbitration Board and serves as a Supreme Court public defender. His academic contributions include adjunct professorship at Donga University and Sogang University, reflecting his commitment to legal education and thought leadership. We are privileged to welcome Mr. Ho Saecheol to share his insights on the ADR landscape in South Korea and to contribute to the depth and diversity of today's discussions. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Oshu, you have to unmute your audio.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Saecheol, and I am an attorney based in South Korea. I've been practicing law for over 18 years, mainly in the areas of civil, administrative, and corporate law. I run my own law office in Hyungdong District, Gwaeong City, just outside of Seoul, where I provide legal services to individuals, companies, and local government institutions. In addition to my litigation work, I'm also an accredited arbitrator with KCAB. So far, I've handled more than 6 mediation cases through the KCAB, and I'm proud to say that more than half of those cases were successfully settled through my mediation. My main interest lies in promoting fair and efficient ways to resolve disputes outside of the courtroom, especially through ADR mechanisms like arbitration and mediation. I'm also increasingly interested in areas like intellectual property and technology law, as I believe they will play a key role in the future of legal services. It is a great pleasure to be part of the GLOBAL South ADR Tribunal, and I look forward to learning from all of you and sharing Korea's experience in ADR. Here is a quick overview of what I'll be covering in this presentation. First, I introduce the main arbitration institutions in Korea with a focus on KCAB. Then I walk you through the procedure at KCAB from filing a case to receiving the final award. After that, we'll look at arbitration in Korea more broadly, including its advantages, international law, and recent developments. Finally, I will wrap up with a short conclusion. Let's get started. First, the Korean Commercial Arbitration Board, or KCAB, is the largest arbitration institution in the country. It was established in 1966 and offers services for both domestic and international disputes. It operates with separate rules depending on whether the case is domestic or international. Besides KCAB, there are other specialized arbitration institutions in Korea, including the Korea Medical Dispute Mediation and Arbitration Agency, which handles medical-related disputes. The Press Arbitration Commission, which deals with media and press-related cases, and the SME Technology Mediation and Arbitration Committee, which focuses on resolving tech disputes for small and medium enterprises. Let's take a closer look at several important parts of the KCAB arbitration process. First, initiation of arbitration. Arbitration officially begins when one party submits a request for arbitration to KCAB. This request must include a brief summary of the dispute, the names and the contact details of both parties, a copy of the arbitration agreement, and the specific relief or outcome the party is seeking. Once KCAB receives the request, it informs the other party and or asks them to submit a response to arbitration within a set time. Number two, international legal basis. Appointment of arbitrators. In international cases, parties can agree to appoint either a sole arbitrator or a tribunal of three. If they can't agree, KCAB will step in and appoint arbitrators from its qualified domestic or international panel. All arbitrators must be neutral, independent, and free from any conflict of interest. Now let's continue with the other important steps in the KCAB arbitration process. Pre-hearing and written submissions. Before the main hearing, a preliminary case management meeting is held to set the case timeline. During this phase, both parties submit their statements of claim and defense, relevant documents, evidence, and expert reports, and witness statements, if applicable. All communication and document exchanges are done through KCAB's secure online system, ensuring smooth and organized case management. Number 4, hearings if needed. Hearings may be held in person, virtually, or in hybrid format, depending on what the parties agree on. These hearings may include oral arguments, cross-examinations, and expert presentations. However, in some cases, especially those that rely heavily on written documents, a hearing may not be necessary. These steps ensure that every case is handled efficiently and fairly, based on the needs of the parties involved. The final step in the KCAB arbitration process is award issuance. After carefully reviewing all the submissions, the arbitral tribunal issues a final and binding award. This award usually includes the findings of fact and law, the specific relief granted, and how the costs and legal fees are to be divided between the parties. The award is generally issued within 12 months from when the tribunal is appointed, but this period can be extended if needed. This final step ensures the dispute is resolved with clarity, finality, and enforceability. Let's now take a look at arbitration in Korea, focusing on the key institution and its advantages. Number 1, KCAB, the key arbitration institution. The Korean Commercial Arbitration Board was established in 1966 and is the country's main arbitration body. It handles both domestic and international cases and operates KCAB International to focus specifically on global disputes. KCAB also provides useful tools like model arbitration clauses, case management service, and access to a list of experienced arbitrators. Number 2, advantages of arbitration in Korea. Korea offers several advantages for arbitration. It has a pool of experienced and bilingual arbitrators, ideal for cross-border cases. The procedures are efficient and the awards are enforceable both in Korea and internationally. Arbitration here is often more cost effective than going to court abroad. Korea's system is modern and aligned with international standards, supported by a strong legal framework. Its strategic location in Asia, along with advanced infrastructure, makes Korea an attractive venue for arbitration. As a result, it's becoming increasingly popular with both Asian and global companies. That's why Korea stands out as a leading hub for international arbitration. Now let's focus on international arbitration in Korea. Seoul is quickly becoming a regional arbitration hub, thanks to its modern infrastructure and strong legal framework. KCAB International is globally recognized and manages around 60 to 100 international cases each year, using procedures that align with the international arbitration standards. Korean courts are very supportive of arbitration. They respect party autonomy and uphold arbitral awards. The Seoul IDRC offers a state-of-the-art facilities for hearings and meetings. KCAB also works closely with other leading arbitration institutions around the world, helping to expand its global network and continuously build expertise in international dispute resolution. All of this makes Korea increasingly attractive destination for resolving cross-border disputes. Let's finish by looking at some recent trends and developments in arbitration in Korea. First, we can see in the graph, there is a growing number of foreign-related arbitrations being handled by KCAB International, showing Korea's rising reputation as a trusted venue for international dispute resolution. Second, the Korean government is actively encouraging arbitration, especially in public contracts, to promote faster and more efficient resolution of disputes. Finally, Korean arbitrators are gaining more visibility and influence globally. Many are now participating in major international forums like SEAC, ICC, and HKIAC, which highlights Korea's expanding role in the global arbitration community. These developments show that Korea is not just keeping pace, but actively shaping the future of international arbitration. To conclude, Korea's arbitration system is built on strong international foundations like the UNCITRAL model law and the New York Convention, ensuring it meets global standards. Recent amendments to the Arbitration Act and supportive government policies are helping the system grow and modernize. Thanks to its speed, expertise, and confidentiality, arbitration in Korea is becoming a reliable and effective method for resolving both domestic and international disputes. With this continued development, Korea is well positioned to become a leading hub for international arbitration. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. O. It was an excellent presentation in a nutshell. Interestingly, I happen to have a good exposure with KCAB, which is the Commercial Arbitration Board of Korea. Recent past, the role of KCAB International, as you rightly pointed out, is a very significant role in arbitration, particularly the development of arbitration seat to be South Korea. Seoul, obviously, it is considered to be heart of every individual, which has a good connection with India, particularly even though it is part of the global north, the contribution what South Korea is eventually giving to the significant role of the arbitration in the global south, we have to appreciate. Why? Because the huge investments what South Korean entities and companies or facilitating in the global south has rapidly developed. If you can see since 2018, I think Professor O would accept this. Investment treaty arbitrations in South Korea have experienced a rapid growth. The first investment case was initiated in 2019, if I'm not wrong, by a South Korean government-owned corporation. They filed against Indian government. Very interesting. I happen to be part of the research work on this particular case, wherein the arbitration found grounding pursuant to the India-Korea Bilateral Investment Treaty. This treaty was signed in the year 1996, as well as they dependent on the India-Korea Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement 2009. And here, the fact involved was the Indian government's failure to supply the gas under the relevant agreement. Here, in this particular case, it was very clear, understood that the South Korean government wanted to engage in investment arbitration as an inevitable part, that is very important, of a dispute resolution and investment as such. We have to appreciate, and we from KFCRI, particularly seated in India, a significant country in the global south, are very happy that the South Korean government is one such sovereign state which is accepting and engaging in investment arbitration. It's very rare to see such a commitment from a government. And to this end, there are only very few adverse awards which happen to be not so friendly with investment arbitration involving Korean parties. But no doubt, the arbitration jurisprudence, what we can see in South Korea, as rightly Professor O was highlighting, and interestingly, being part of a law firm quite significantly involved in multiple arbitration work. The cases dealing with arbitration jurisprudence eventually engages the South Korean courts interest in the application of the KAA, the Korean Arbitration Act, when it also involves domestic legislations and mandatory regulations. When you see on multiple cases wherein the Korean Debtor Rehabilitation and Bankruptcy Act, which did not have a preferential effect on this act, there are the developments which was happening, particularly when we look on the regulations of terms and conditions. Neither international mandatory nor extraterritorial applicability were given some clarifications. But as a wholesome understanding of the role of the Korean Commercial Arbitration Board as an institution in South Korea being a global north country, is anticipated to further promote Korea as a hub of international dispute resolution in Northeast Asia and beyond. In line with this legislative provisions, the government, the sovereign state, is also understood to be eager to convey to the international arbitration community a message of openness to meet the growth, the demand for cross-border commercial dispute resolution, and also better facilitating transboundary transactions. This can be reflected, as Professor was highlighting, by the state's compliance with the arbitration awards, particularly when it comes to enforcement, and the court's choice of the arbitration jurisprudence. As part of the global south country, in order to catch up with its arbitration, particularly Asian arbitration counterparts, some legislative and policy gaps will need to be addressed. No doubt, it is not a clear understanding of this arbitration culture in South Korea, but interestingly, the development of the Korean Commercial Arbitration Board, particularly having its international wing dealing with international cases, the barriers of language has gone, and now KCAB, particularly the South Korean legislation, also is a guiding principle for the Global South countries to act. The South Korean declarations or reservations in the New York Convention is giving a greatest opportunity for all of us. The Korean Arbitration Act, which was first enacted in 1966, as Professor was highlighting the history, had some revision in 1999 to literally adopt the UNCITRAL model law. And in 2016, when we look on the Korean legislature, which passed an extensive amendment to this act, and the 2016 amendment, which is literally adopted of the amended 2006 model law, also is a welcome note. And all these set together, I think Professor Wu would accept that South Korea has also become a relevant destination or a seat for international arbitration. The notable work of KCAB, wherein our Professor O happened to be a panel arbitrator. Thanks, Professor O, being a KCAB arbitrator, coming forward for this event to share the inputs. This KCAB is the greatest example of how an arbitration institution should function. I think the contribution, what Professor O is facilitating to KCAB is noteworthy, and being KCAB the only officially recognized arbitration institution in Korea, not only an institution doing or facilitating institutional arbitration, KCAB also acts as an appointing authority for KCAB arbitrations and may also act as an appointing authority in non-KCAB arbitration seated in Korea. That's a very unique policy when we see about KCAB. In addition, what in our research and in the cases involved with KCAB, what we can understand is that in early 2018, if I'm not wrong, Korea also launched the Seoul Maritime Arbitrators Association, SMAA, which is similar to the very traditional arbitration association, the London Maritime Arbitrators Association, or similar to the Singapore Chamber of Maritime Arbitration. The growth in maritime arbitration also was taken into consideration, and Korea was one a traditional seat or a stronghold for arbitration, wanted to pull in maritime disputes also, in addition to investment arbitrations, commercial arbitrations. Now it is going to emanate as a hub for maritime arbitration also. With this, the great note about KCAB and the Korean seat for international arbitration, the specialized arbitration court also is a complementing factor. Even though we can't see as such a specialized arbitration court, certain courts which are established in Korea are considered to have a specialized subdivisions that handle international or cross-border cases. No doubt, Korea is going to be a seat for international arbitration, which is going to flourish. And with this development, and particularly professionals like Professor O and many of his colleagues in South Korea, we in KFCRI are going to take this forward in the future announcement of a greatest alliance among the Global South arbitration institutions, as well as universities and other academic bodies in Global South, along with the sovereign states in Global South. We are going to announce a greatest alliance, and that alliance is going to partner with Korean entities, Korean law firms, as well as, interestingly, with Professor O and KCAB. With this note, I thank Professor O for sparing his valuable time, particularly sharing his thought about arbitration in Korea. Thank you, Professor O.
Thank you, Mr. Imbapisian. Yeah.